I have lived 45 years on this earth, killed 19 men with my own hands, watched friends bleed out in the dust and enemies fall at my feet. But I never believed in fate, not once, until that October night in 1882 when a dying woman changed everything. The Arizona desert stretched endless before me. Cold wind cut through my coat like a blade. My horse moved slow, exhausted from 3 days pushing cattle across land that God himself seemed to have forgotten. My name is Harlan Graves, former scout for the 6th United States Cavalry. I quit 5 years ago when they ordered me to guide an attack on a village of women and children. I refused. They attacked anyway. Now I push other men's cattle across other men's land, a ghost with a gun and nothing worth living for. Then I heard it, a sound that did not belong, small, weak, almost swallowed by the howling wind. A baby, crying somewhere in the darkness ahead. I spurred my horse forward. The scene revealed itself piece by piece. An overturned wagon, wheels still spinning in the wind. 2 dead men sprawled in the dust, shot clean through the chest. Professional work, soldier work. And there, beside the broken wagon wheel, a woman. She was still breathing, barely. Her blue dress had turned black, with blood spreading beneath her like a dark lake. In her arms, clutched against her failing chest, a baby wrapped in torn blankets. 2 weeks old, maybe less. I dropped from my horse and knelt beside her. Her eyes found mine, green eyes bright with pain and something else, desperate hope. "Please," she whispered. Blood bubbled at her lips. "My husband, Colonel Whitmore. He sent them." I leaned closer. "Who did this?" "Silas, my husband." Her voice was fading fast. "He wants the baby dead. I know too much. The weapons he sells, the Apache land." Her trembling hand pressed a leather pouch into my palm. "Do not take him to Fort Apache. Promise me. Silas will kill him. Promise." "I promise," I said. I do not know if she heard. Her eyes went still and empty. Her chest stopped moving. Margaret Whitmore was gone, trusting her child to a stranger she had known for 30 seconds. The baby kept crying. I looked down at him, small, red-faced, helpless. I had not held a child since before I stopped believing in anything good. I named him Ezra. Do not ask me why. Inside the pouch, I found a letter in a gold ring with military markings. The letter told me everything. Colonel Silas Whitmore commanded Fort Apache. His wife discovered he was selling weapons to Comanchero raiders. She fled with evidence that could destroy him. He sent men to silence her forever. Then I heard hoofbeats. 3 riders materialized from darkness like demons. The leader wore sergeant stripes. A scar ran from his left eye to his jaw, twisting his face into something that had forgotten how to be human. "Hand over the child, cowboy." His voice was flat as a tombstone. "This is not your concern." "The woman said Whitmore sent you, said he wants his own son dead." The sergeant smiled. It made his face worse. "Margaret knew things she should not have known. The boy is inconvenient evidence." He drew his pistol casually. "Last chance. Give him up and ride away. Refuse, and you die here." I have been in enough gunfights to know when talking ends. My hand moved before my mind caught up. The Colt cleared leather, roared once. The rider on his left tumbled backward, dead before he hit ground. The sergeant fired back. The bullet tore through my left thigh like a branding iron. White-hot pain exploded up my spine. I stumbled but kept my feet, kept Ezra pressed tight against my chest. I ran, threw myself over a rocky ridge, rolled down into a dry creek bed, pressed my body into the deepest shadows. Above me, I heard them searching, cursing, horses circling. "Find him! The colonel wants that child." I lay bleeding into sand, holding a dead woman's baby, wondering how everything had changed in minutes. The sounds of searching continued until dawn. Then finally hoofbeats faded into distance. I was alive. For now. Morning found me closer to death than I had been in years. Fever setting in, my legs swollen and hot. Ezra had cried himself into exhausted silence, making only weak whimpers. He needed milk, food, warmth, things I could not provide. I crawled up the creek bed searching for water, found a trickle seeping from rocks, drank deep, wet Ezra's cracked lips. That was when I saw them. 3 women standing on the ridge above me. Apache, dressed in deer skin and woven cotton. The tallest carried a Spencer carbine, old but well-maintained. Long black hair, face sharp as a blade. Eyes harder still. Maybe 30 years old, but she moved like someone who had seen more death than men twice her age. Beside her, a younger woman with a hunting bow drawn, arrow pointed at my heart, quick eyes, ready to kill. The third was oldest, near 40. She watched me with calm curiosity, like a hawk studying wounded prey. I raised my hands. I mean no harm. The tall one studied me. Her eyes moved systematically. My face, my hands, the way I held myself. You were cavalry, she said, not a question. The calluses on your right hand, the way your left shoulder sits lower. You carried a rifle on horseback for years. Scout, 6th Cavalry. I left 5 years ago. Why? I met her eyes. Because I refused to kill women and children. Silence stretched between us. Ezra let out a thin, hungry wail. The sound seemed to crack something in the frozen air. I am Ayanna, she said. These are my sisters, Chenoa and Dakota. She gestured toward the mountains behind her. Our people were massacred 3 months ago by soldiers from Fort Apache. A colonel named Whitmore led the attack. He burned our village, killed everyone. Only we 3 escaped. My blood ran cold. The same Whitmore. We will save your child, Ayanna continued. We have goat's milk, medicine, shelter. Relief flooded through me. Thank you. I will repay you however I can. We do not want payment. She stepped closer until her shadow fell across my face. We want a husband. I stared at her, certain the fever had broken my mind. Our people believe that warriors live on through their children. We are the last of our band. If we do not bear children, our entire bloodline ends forever. 1,000 years of ancestors forgotten. You want me to? You will stay with us. Choose one of us as wife. Help us survive and continue our blood. I looked at Ezra, helpless, innocent, dying without their help. And if I refuse? Ayanna's expression remained stone. Then you leave now, with nothing, and the child dies before sunset. The wind moaned through the canyon. Ezra whimpered against my chest. I thought about Margaret bleeding out in the sand, about my promise. How long to decide which one? 10 days. On the 10th sunrise, you choose, or you leave forever. 10 days to decide which is stranger to marry. 10 days to figure out if redemption was even possible. All right, I accept. Ayanna nodded once, turned toward the mountains. I struggled to my feet, legs screaming, and limped after them into the unknown. The cave exceeded my expectations. Hidden behind scrub oak and juniper, a natural hollow carved into the mountainside. Small fire crackling inside. Blankets of wool and rabbit fur lining the stone floor. Dakota, the eldest sister, took Ezra without a word. She produced a leather bladder of goat's milk and began feeding him with practiced hands. Within minutes, his crying stopped. He drank greedily, then fell into deep sleep. She cleaned my wound with water boiled with bitter roots, then packed it with a poultice that burned like hellfire. The pain was extraordinary. I did not make a sound. You are strong, Dakota observed. Most men would scream. Screaming never made pain go away. She almost smiled. The first 3 days blurred together in fever and fitful sleep. I woke only to drink bitter broth and check on Ezra, who thrived under the sister's care. By the fourth morning, I could stand without the world tilting. By the fifth, I could walk well enough to be useful. Chenoa, the youngest sister, appointed herself my teacher. She showed me how to set snares for rabbits, find water in dry seasons, which plants heal and which kill. She talked constantly, questions that cut deep. "Why did you truly leave the cavalry?" she asked while we checked snare lines. I pulled a rabbit from a trap. "I told you, I refuse to kill innocents." "That is what you did, not why." I was quiet for a long moment. In 77, I was ordered to scout a village for attack. They said it was a war camp, warriors gathering for raids. I paused. When I arrived, I found women grinding corn, children playing, old men too weak to stand. "What did you do?" I reported what I saw, told my captain there were no fighters. He attacked anyway. My hands tightened on the wire. When I returned 3 days later, there was nothing left but ashes and bodies. "So you are a coward," Chenoa said. "You refused to lead them, but did nothing to stop them." The words hit like fists, because she was right. Yes, I suppose I am. On the sixth night, Dakota discovered my secret. She found Margaret's letter while washing my clothes, confronted me by the stream after midnight. "The child is Whitmore's son. No point lying." "Yes, you knew from the beginning. Let us care for the child of the man who slaughtered our family." Ezra did not choose his father. Margaret died protecting him from Whitmore. He is innocent. If Ayanna learns this, she will hate me. I know. Dakota studied me for a long moment. Moonlight caught the silver in her hair. "I will keep your secret, for now, but truth cannot stay buried forever." The seventh day brought death to our doorstep. A mountain lion attacked at dawn, drawn by the smell of goat's milk. It went straight for Ezra's cradle. My body moved without thinking. I threw myself between the cat and the child. Claws raked across my forearm, tearing flesh to bone. Teeth grazed my shoulder, but I did not retreat, did not give an inch. Chenoa's arrow struck its shoulder. Ayanna finished it with her knife. Afterward, I sat bleeding while Dakota bandaged another wound. Ayanna stood over me. "You were ready to die," she said, "for a child not yours." I made a promise to his mother. "There is more. You feel guilty, not just for this child, for all the ones you could not save." I did not answer, did not need to. For the first time, her voice softened. "You are not what I expected, Harlan Graves." On the eighth night, we talked alone by the fire. 3 days remain," Ayanna said. "Have you decided?" "I still do not understand why it must be marriage." She was quiet, then spoke with the weight of generations. "My people believed warriors live through their children. If we do not continue our bloodline, 1,000 years of ancestors die with us. Completely. Forever." She looked at me directly. "I do not need love, Harlan. I need commitment. Someone who will stay when staying becomes hard." I understood then. This was not romance. This was survival, legacy, refusing to let an entire people vanish. "I have not decided, but I am not leaving." The ninth day shattered everything. Chenoa returned from scouting with her face pale as bone. "Soldiers, 12 or more. The scarred one leads them." Crane. He had tracked us. Ayanna took command instantly. "We leave now. Head for Red Canyon. The narrow passages will slow them." We packed in minutes. Ezra rapped against Dakota's chest. I checked my weapons. Colt loaded. Winchester ready. 40 rounds total. Not enough. We ran. Halfway to Red Canyon, Chenoa grabbed my arm. "They are tracking the child. What are you hiding?" I looked at Ayanna, at Dakota, at Ezra sleeping innocently. The time for secrets was over. "Ezra is Colonel Whitmore's son. Margaret was his wife. She fled because she discovered he was selling weapons to Comancheros." Chenoa's hand flew to her knife. "You brought the son of our enemy into our home? Whitmore wants him dead. This child is as much his victim as your family was. Ayana's face turned to stone. You lied to us. I kept a truth that would have killed an innocent child. Silence. The sound of approaching hoofbeats growing louder. Ayana spoke first. Did the child choose his father? No. If we kill him for his father's crimes, we become what Whitmore is. Chenoa's grip on her knife slowly relaxed. I do not forgive you, she told me, but the child lives. We kept running. Red Canyon rose before us like the bones of a dead giant. Sheer walls of red stone climbed 300 feet. The entrance barely wide enough for 2 horses, a perfect killing ground. We reached it as the sun bled across the horizon. Behind us, dust clouds marked approaching cavalry. Ayana took command. Harlan, we hold the entrance. Chenoa, find high ground. Dakota, take Ezra to the abandoned mine at Canyon's End. Dakota paused. There is dynamite in that mine, left by prospectors, enough to collapse the walls. The word changed everything. We can use it, I said. Draw them deep, then bring everything down. Someone would have to stay behind to light the fuse, Ayana said quietly. Someone who would not get out. We both knew who that would be. They came at dusk, not 12 men, 25. And leading them on a black horse with silver fittings rode Colonel Silas Whitmore himself. Gray beard trimmed sharp, cold blue eyes holding no warmth. The face of a man who never doubted himself. He raised a speaking trumpet. Harlan Graves, surrender my son. I will make your death quick. Refuse and it will last for days. I shouted back. Your wife told me everything, Whitmore. The weapons, the money, the reason you had her murdered. Whitmore laughed. The sound echoed like something from hell. Margaret was a traitor. The child is inconvenient evidence. Ayana stood beside me. You have spilled enough blood, Colonel. Apache blood. Innocent blood. His face hardened. Kill them all. Bring me the child. The first wave hit like an iron fist. 15 riders charged the entrance, firing as they came. Bullets sparked off rocks around us. My Winchester answered. One soldier fell, then another. Ayana's carbine cracked beside me. Chenoa's pistol barked from above. 5 men down, 6, but they kept coming. Fall back, Ayana shouted. Draw them deeper! Crane led 8 men around the canyon walls, climbing to flank us from above. Chenoa saw them first, shifted position to cover the new threat. The bullet caught her in the shoulder. She tumbled from her perch, bouncing off rocks. I sprinted to her, found her wedged between boulders, pale, bleeding. Go, she gasped. The dynamite. Only way. Leaving her was one of the hardest things I have ever done. Crane found me near the mine entrance. He emerged from shadows, knife drawn, scar twisting his face into something inhuman. End of the line, deserter. Crane. Wondered when you would stop hiding behind your men. We circled each other. 2 killers, both bleeding. You are fighting for a child not yours, he said. For savages who will never accept you. Why? Maybe I finally found something worth dying for. He attacked fast. His blade sliced across my ribs. I blocked his second strike, caught his wrist, twisted hard. He was stronger, younger, but I had nothing left to lose. My knife found his gut, punched through, twisted. Crane looked down at the wound with something like surprise. Did not think you had it in you. He fell, did not get up. Inside the mine, I found old dynamite crates sweating nitroglycerin, a lantern, a coil of fuse. I prepared everything, then walked back outside. Whitmore had arrived with 5 remaining soldiers. Where is my son? I spat blood. Deep in the mine. But there is something else you want more. His eyes narrowed. What? Margaret's journal. Every transaction, every payment, every dead Apache. I paused. She gave it to me before she died. Whitmore went pale. First emotion I had seen from him. You are lying. Want to risk it? Let me walk away. Maybe that journal stays hidden. Kill me. My friends know exactly who to send it to. He stared, calculating. Show me. He was too smart to go alone, too arrogant to stay behind. Whitmore and two soldiers followed me into darkness. The mine shaft went deep, rotting timbers, shifting rocks. The dynamite waited in shadows, the fuse invisible against dark stone. Whitmore looked around. I see no journal. That is because there is none. Margaret never kept records. I smiled. But she told me everything. And now, Colonel, you get buried with your secrets. I kicked the lantern. Glass shattered, oil spread. Flames licked toward the fuse. Whitmore understood too late. He fired. The bullet hit my shoulder, spun me around. But I was already running. Behind me, screaming. The hiss of burning fuse. Then thunder. The explosion collapsed half the mountain. The shock wave threw me against the canyon wall. Rocks rained down. Dust filled my lungs. For several eternal seconds, I was certain I had died. Then hands grabbed me, pulled me free. Ayana's face appeared through swirling dust. Did it work? Behind her, where the mine had been, only rubble remained. Tons of stone. Nothing could have survived. Whitmore is buried, she said quietly. It is over. I closed my eyes, released a breath I had been holding for 5 years. Epilogue, a new beginning. 3 weeks later, I could walk again. The wounds had closed, fever passed. I was alive in a place I never expected to find myself. Ezra slept in a cradle Dakota had woven from willow branches. Chinoa practiced archery, shoulder healed. Ayana hunted, scouted, kept us fed. And me? I was learning what it meant to stop running. I found Ayana at the canyon mouth on the 24th morning. She faced the sunrise. I should leave, I said. The danger is over. She did not turn. The 10 days ended 2 weeks ago. You never chose. I want to leave because I am not sure I deserve to stay. I was part of the machine that destroyed your people. She was quiet for a long moment. When you first came, I saw only a cavalry scout, an enemy. She turned to face me. Then I watched you nearly die for a child not yours. Fight beside us against impossible odds. Walk into that mine knowing you might never walk out. She took my hand. Calloused fingers. Strong. Warm. I no longer see a uniform, Harlan. I see a man trying to atone. Stay. Not from obligation, because this is where you belong. I looked back at the cave. At Dakota preparing breakfast. At Chinoa teaching Ezra to smile. At the life growing in this harsh place. For 5 years I had been running. From what I saw, from what I failed to stop. From guilt that never let go. I think I am tired of running. Ayana squeezed my hand. Then stop. We married on the first day of summer. Simple ceremony. Apache tradition mixed with Western vows. Chinoa witnessed. Dakota blessed. Ezra slept through it all. We were not in love, not yet, but we were something. Partners, allies, two broken people building something whole. Perhaps in time that would grow into something more. But peace never lasts forever. 3 months later, a stranger rode into Tombstone. He asked questions about Colonel Whitmore, about a baby who survived, about the Apache women who took him. He wore a U.S. Marshal's badge. His name was Thomas Whitmore, the colonel's brother. He was coming for Ezra, coming for all of us. But that is a story for another time. The story of Harlan Graves continues. Some debts can never be paid. Some enemies never stop hunting.